hearts. So some brief words of Torah this Shabbat before we make our way through to the end of this amazing World Union's Shabbat service. We asked people earlier to answer the question, why did Rivka accept this offer? Why did she say yes? I was on the way to fetch one of my children from school today, and listening on Cape Talk, I heard this startling statistic that during lockdown, divorces had gone up in South Africa by 60%. And it was a lawyer, a divorce lawyer actually, who was explaining his theory as to why this statistic had happened. People are intensely together in ways that they hadn't been before. They're not going off to work. They're not sharing time together and time apart in the way that they were before lockdown. And apparently for some marriages, this is a challenge that was never faced before and was not, at least to the couple, seen to be surmountable. It made me think about relationships, and it made me think about Rivka. Relationships take work. We know this. All relationships take work, whether it's somebody that is your partner, someone that is your friend, a member of your family. Relationships are going to hit hurdles somewhere along the way. And some of them have their own way of saying that this needs to end and we need to part ways. And sometimes parties dig deep and they find ways to get over those hurdles and come out with their relationships even stronger. What is for sure is that coronavirus has tested all our relationships with each other in ways that we are not able to be together as we were before March, and have had to dig deep to maintain and grow those relationships in creative ways. It's also tested our relationship with God. Maybe we've wondered how it is possible that we can live in a world like today if there is divine justice and divine judgment up there and around. What is for sure is that Rivka lived in a time that was very different to ours and was also the same as ours. She had presumably very limited opportunities as a woman, as many women in the world that we live in today face as well. And at the end of this month, sadly, we have to mark the 16 days of activism against violence against women. Why do we even need to have these 16 days? But possibly in the strength of herself, she was able to, in a patriarchal world, to be able to say yes to her own fate, to decide what her future was going to be, and to say, Eilech, I will go. What gives me a sense of the work that was begun with that decision is the verse when Rivka has arrived in the land of Canaan, and she sees Yitzchak for the first time from afar, and she veils herself and falls off her camel, smitten by the sight of Isaac. The Torah tells us, Vayiva'ea Yitzchak ha'oela Sara imo, vayikach et Rivka, vatihi lo leisha v'ye'ava. And Yitzchak brought Rivka into the tent that used to belong to his mother Sara, who had already passed away at the beginning of the parasha. And he took her as his wife, and he loved her. The great reward that comes out of relationships is the blessing of love. We are connected by invisible connections to our movement around the world. And we love the notion that wherever you go in this world, and there are so many places represented here tonight, you can turn up at a progressive shul and be welcomed. That is an amazing love. And there is the love that is the partner, the family, the friend that we know we need to invest in order to make that love grow. So I want to wish us all this Shabbat, the Shabbat of connections, the bracha of ahava, the blessing of love. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos.